Today we're going to be looking at legendary creatures that we hate, except they're bad. So maybe we shouldn't hate them so much. All right, we're going to start off with Norn the Wary. I personally hate this card. It's a 2/1 human warrior. Whenever a player plays a spell or a creature attacks, remove Norn the Wary from the game. Return it to play under its owner's control at end of turn. Now, I understand that this is a pretty popular card, especially since this card is incredibly unique. But I find the strategies really frustrating. It usually has to do with like a bunch of ETBs or even life gain effects. And like there is no way you can play around this, or there's very, very few ways to play around this. You have to cast cards and hope that you overwhelm your opponent's strategy, because otherwise, I mean, they're just going to get like a bunch of value. And I'm not really a person with a lot of removal. So if the whole deck revolves around creatures entering the battlefield, I mean, I'm completely defenseless against it. Completely defenseless. Most of the ways I beat Norn the Wary decks, especially on Magic Online, is that they time themselves out with their triggers. Like, Norn the Wary enters the battlefield. 70 triggers! Takes 2 minutes to resolve. It's happened a few times. Okay, we're gonna move on with Dimitri, going for stupid since never played against, but Jorn, God of Winter. Jorn, God of Winter. Do you have any explanation for this? We have a 3-mana 3/3. When it attacks, untap each snow permanent you control. I could see a world where this is good, but because you have to be in snow. You have to be all in on snow. I guess like the Arkham's Astrolabe, the Stone Coil Serpent. Is that the name of the card? It's a powerful effect, but super narrow. I don't even know if there's enough snow cards in the game to support such an archetype. What is the other side of this thing? Cauldring the Rhyme Staff, a 3-mana snow artifact. Tap, you may play it, target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn. If you do, it enters the battlefield tap. That's actually probably the better side of this entire card, not the first side. Moving on, we're gonna go to Little Deadfly. Following Dimitri, here's a legendary I bet nobody plays with. Dur the Abbot. You know, if you're going to suggest these cards, I'm also curious why you hate these cards. We have a 5-mana 2/5 legend. You know what? I would hate this card just because it's old. It's from Homelands. Why would I ever want to be losing to this thing? Pay X, tap, redirect to Dur. The Abbot, X damage dealt to any white creature you control. Wow. So it's like they can make an attack, and your blocks are always going to suck because they could redirect all the damage back to the Hasdur, back to the Abbot. I'm undermined by a card coming from Homelands. We've got what is Maga, Traitor of Mortals? Traitor of Mortals. Traitor. Are you? Oh, what the hell? Is this really a card? Okay, and moving on. We've got Toilet Duck. With basically any legendary creature that's old enough that was printed with Summon Legend in the type line. That's also not a card. Yeah, okay. Toxrill the Corrosive. Absolute bastard creature. Toxrill. You know, this card has been on the show quite a few times. Does anyone even play it? It's a 7-mana 7/7 slug horror, so it has to be in like a mono black commander deck. At the beginning of each end step, you put a slime counter on each creature you control, which is probably like the most time-consuming, time-wasting card possible. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them, and whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token. And then for 2 mana, sacrifice the slug, draw a card. I like how impressively powerful this card is. You get blue. Oh, yeah, you're right, because of the ability. What is it called? What's it called? Commander Identity. Color Identity. Or something to that effect. You know what? I can totally see This card just wasting a lot of time. You have to put a slime counter on each creature you control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. This is like an absolute pain to keep track of. Okay, moving on. We got Rated Lex with the first super chat of the day. General Jarkled? Can we call it just General Jerk? General Jarkled. So much text for a simple effect. Oh, is it? 4 mana, tap. Switch the blocking creatures of 2 target attacking creatures. All defense must remain legal. Use this ability only during combat after defense is chosen and before damage is dealt. You know what? I didn't really understand any of that. Screw the ancient scripture. Tap. Choose 2 target blocked attacking creatures. If each of those creatures could be blocked by all creatures that the other is blocked by, each creature that's blocking exactly one of those attacking creatures stops blocking it and is blocking the other attacking creature. Activate only during the declare blocker step. Oh, I'm sure it makes a whole lot of sense once you see it. It's probably one of those cards. Oh, it makes so much more so much more sense when you actually see the thing. It's Maga Traitor to Mortals. It should be able to see Traitor to Mortals. Oh, wonder what I might maybe I wrote it wrong. Okay, sorry. Okay, this card really exists. Okay, it's Maga Traitor to Mortals, black X, a 0/0 human wizard. Maga Traitor to Mortals comes into play with X +1/+1 counters on it, and then when Maga comes into play, target player loses life equal to the number of +1/+1 counters on it. So, like, if you can build up a bunch of mana, this is where this card shines. Otherwise, it's pretty bad early on. I would feel pretty bad as my opponent slowly gets another Cabal Coffers, another... Well, I guess they don't get another one. They could... Well, you could, depending on the format that you're playing. You copy your Cabal Coffers, get enough mana, and drain your opponent in one shot. They suck your blood. Jess with the super chat. Torbrand. Oh, it's a different Torbrand. Okay, you want Torbrand, Thane of Redfell. Not very good on his own. Oh no, it is the Torbrand I was thinking of. Torbrand, the 4 mana 2/4 dwarf noble. If a red source you control would deal damage to an opponent or a permanent an opponent controls, it deals that much damage +2 instead. My friend plays this commander. One of two things happen, and here's the deal. Like, when you have Torbrand out and you have a bunch of mana and a bunch of cards in hand, like, you're going to be the target at the table. That's just what's going to happen. So then we all wail on our friend, because we have to. We know what the writing's on the wall. He's going to play, like, Earthquake or something, then hit us for, like, 30. Or I guess, no, this isn't the double damage one. Just that much damage +2 instead. It's still a beating. And anyway, we are either going to win that. My friend is going to die that turn, or we are going to die next turn. That's what Torbrand always represents. Sick Nasty with Immodane the Pyromancer. Absolutely. Not legend. Needs to be legend. Has to be legendary cards. Chally with Tabarax. Tabarax, a 3 mana 2/2 demon cleric, flying. Has lifelink as long as it has five or more +1/+1 counters on it. That is quite the achievement unlocked. Whenever another non-token creature you control dies, oh, we put a +1/+1 counter on our Tabarax. If that creature was a cleric, you may draw a card if you do lose 1 life. I can totally see just flipping a lid over this card. I don't find that getting 5 +1/+1 counters on this makes any sense at all. And then, totally missed the legendary part. Was there a legendary? Oh, yeah. It has to be a legendary creature today. That's the rules. Must be legendary. This card's legendary. So it has, the moment it has 5 +1/+1, it has lifelink. It's beating you down. And on top of that, what is it? Like, when a creature dies, if it's a cleric, you draw cards and you lose 1 life. The epitome of Winmore. Next up, does Reaper King count? Might in my book. You know, like, I don't understand the fascination with Reaper King. I know this is a super popular card, because I guess there's just not many Scarecrows. I don't even know why Scarecrow is a popular creature type. So for Wooburg or 10 colorless mana, it's a 6/6 Scarecrow. Other Scarecrows you control, which there's not many of, get +1/+1. I guess it's for it's Changeling fodder. Whenever another Scarecrow comes into play under your control, destroy target permanent. I guess it's not really for the Scarecrow players. It's for the Changeling players. Which at the same time is still like a super jank archetype. It's jank all around. Those Changeling decks depend on you getting your Reaper King in play. And if they don't have the Reaper King, well, I guess it doesn't do anything at all. Okay, next up. The Red Scout with Tiny Bones. The Pickpocket. Do you want the Pickpocket one? It's like the monkey that steals from people from this as everyone's distracted by the circus performer. Okay, we have a black 1/1 Skeleton Rogue, Death Touch. Whenever Tiny Bones the Pickpocket deals combat damage to a player, you may cast target non-land permanent card from that player's graveyard. And mana of any type can be spent to cast that spell. They attack for 1. Do I want to block? Ooh, wait a minute. It's got Death Touch? Well, I guess I'm not blocking this card, and you can play cards from my graveyard. It's a feel bad card. Duskmourn made Scarecrows popular. Really? Well, I know the Scarecrow was popular for a very, very long time. Golos, pretty meh. What are you talking about? The Golos? That card got banned. Come on. It got banned for a reason. Very, very, very powerful card. They're like this card even saw play in Modern. Next up. Okay, Little Dead Fly. It might be too late to explain why I picked Hasdur, but it's very narrow and the flavor is off. It's like a very old man shouldn't be powerful than most blockers. With age comes wisdom, though, and sometimes wisdom is powerful. And knowledge. You have a lifetime of knowledge, ideally. Okay, Christopher B. with Marchesa in Thunder Junction with no explanation. Is that an actual card? Marchesa. Is this the Thunder Junction one? Yeah, Thunder Junction. Okay, 3 mana for a 3/4 human rogue. Whenever you commit a crime, you may pay 1. If you do, load the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of them into your hand and the other into your graveyard. This is like a... Oh, so whenever you commit a crime. So whenever I target something, we pay 1 and we get to control the top of our library, I guess. That's about it. Trent Sims with Ho Corey Dust Drinker. I hate this card because I hate staring at it. 4 mana 2/2. Lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land they control. This doesn't see much play. I mean, I guess it's just like the worst of all the prison-like cards. Lands don't untap. Well, 1 land gets to untap. So what? Isn't this like more of a blue card? Isn't this like Rising Waters? Rising Waters, as far as I remember. I am with Saruman, the White Hand. I cannot stand half. I can't stand half the Lord of the Rings commanders, but this one is just abominable. 4 mana for a 2/5 Avatar Wizard. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, amass Orcs X, where X is that spell's mana value. Oh yeah, it's Saruman. Goblins and orcs you control have Ward 2. Frustrating. It's an orc maker. Bringer of the orcs. See, Saruman brings all the orcs to its yard. Jess with another super chat. Thanks so much, Jess. I really appreciate it. Metamai the Ageless. You're not wrong. How to break it. Big target. 6 mana for a 4/4 flyer, and whenever it deals combat damage to a player, you get to take an extra turn after this one. I'm surprised this card doesn't see more play. I tried to sell a big pile of cards one day, and I was offered 50 cents for the Metamai, and I'm like, no, I'm going to keep it. One day, someone's going to break it. It's going to get broken one day. But it can't attack during extra turns, because otherwise that would be absolutely broken. Be supremely broken. Instead, it's just frustratingly annoying. I guess it's just too expensive or something. A Blackbird with Kalitas. Trader of Get. This card used to be really good. Like, this card was like... I mean, I don't know where it stands now. It's not good. It doesn't see any competitive play anymore. I don't know where it stands in Commander. The 4-mana 3/4 Vampire Warrior. It was 3/4, so it could dodge Lightning Bolt. That was big. Big back in the day. A lifelink. Gaining life on company time. If a non-token creature an opponent controls would die, instead exile it and put a 2/2 black zombie creature token onto the battlefield. So they like wipe out your stuff and they get stuff. And if I remember correctly, I believe you could wipe the board, like play a board wipe, and you still get the effect. Like Kalitas dies, but the effect still happens, and you get like a token for each creature your opponent's died for each creature that died from your opponent's side. And of course, there was the 3-mana sack another vampire or zombie and put a 2+1/+1 counters on Kalitas, Trader of Get. Very hard with the made very hard for blocking. Toladuck with Lubu. Lubu! It's a flavor fail because it's so weak. If it was danger, then maybe it would be a flavor fail. Master at Arms. How about that? Having trouble finding this thing. Oh, here it is. I typed it in properly. 6 mana. 4/3, Horsemanship and Haste. So it's basically a hasty unblockable. It's a flavor fail because it's so weak. Is this that weak? It's just like a sort of a small ball lightning. I would hate losing to the card, that's for sure. Joe, hey Nikachu, I love your videos. Thanks so much, Joe. Thanks so much, Joe K. From Bollywood. Next super chat from Kagan. Daxos of Meletis. It was really annoying the one time I didn't play my token generator deck. I have lost to Daxos before in a multiplayer game. And what can I say? I was embarrassed. This sort of looks and feels like a bad card, the way that it reads out, but it just wiped me out. It's a 3-mana 2/2. Can't be blocked by creatures with power 3 or greater. So that gives it a lot of like unblockable potential. Whenever Daxos of Meletis deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library. You gain life equal to the card's mana value. And until end of turn, you may cast the card and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. And if I remember correctly, like the Daxos deck was playing with a lot of equipment. So the creature itself wasn't very big. But you know, you put an equipment on it, and then all of a sudden, well, now it's suddenly it's a force to be reckoned with. So the big creatures can't block it, and all the small creatures get wiped away by a Daxos with a sword on it. So very, very strong interaction. Lewis with Child of Alara. Got a lot of early no cards yet. Wooburg for a 6/6 Avatar. Trample. When it dies, destroy all non-land perms. They can't be regenerated. I would think this is like a neutral level card. It's not good. It's not the worst thing in the world. Of course, you don't well, I guess at the same time, I wouldn't really want to play with this thing. Worst case scenario, I'm going to lose everything. I'm going to lose my Child of Alara. I'm going to lose everything else. Destroy all non-land permanents. They can't be regenerated. Better keep just only a Child of Alara on the battlefield. Trent Sims has something to say. Daxos isn't super strong on his own, but there are good ways to build it. Like my Strike of the Wrath deck. Stark? Or sorry, yes. Is it Strike or Stark? Stark is really bad, but I exploit it very hard. It's the whole idea. Part of Magic the Gathering is taking one card individually bad and then making it good. Okay, Islarf, thank you very much for your super chat. Super chat for partners. Okon and Zinder Split. I don't know who Zinder Split is. We have a super chat for one card. Okon, Eye of Chaos, the 5-mana 3/3 Cyclops. Partner with Zinder Split, Eye of Wisdom. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Whenever a player wins a coin flip, double a con's power and toughness until end of turn. So you want a little Clark's thumb action here. I'll tell you what. The person who rigs their coin, they're going to be in a very good spot with a Con Eye of Chaos. That's for sure. They're going to be in a very, very, very good spot. We got William with Kemba. Cat Regent. It's Cat Cleric. 3 mana for a 2/4. At the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/2 white cat creature token for each equipment attached to Kemba Cat Regent. Oh my god. That card looks bad. This card looks really, really bad. What do we need? We need equipment. One equipment only gets you 1 2/2 cat. Honestly, if it just said at the beginning of your upkeep, create a 2/2 white cat creature token, I think that's fine. They could have just printed it like that. How many equipment can you get equipped to this thing? 2 at most? 3? I think the upside is just I think it's awkward though. It's infinite cats, is it? Create a 2/2 token for each equipment attached to. No, it's not infinite at all. It's if you can have how many equipment? All of them. All the equipment will attach. I don't think I've attached more than 1 equipment to a single creature in my life. I don't play with a lot of I don't play a lot of equipment decks though. But even then, even playing against equipment, I've never seen more than 2 equipment on a creature before. It just doesn't happen. Evan with Harobi. Death's Wail. We have a 4 mana 4/4 spirit flying. Whenever a creature becomes the target of a spell or ability, destroy that creature. Well, it includes itself.
No, God, please, no.
You know, Harobi, this is a 2-way street. If I die to being targeted, so do you. Unsummon. You die. Suddenly, unsummon is lethal. I mean, I could totally see a deck that can't target anything. So, well, whenever a creature becomes the target... Well, I guess you could just play a creatureless deck, and that probably beats this thing, too. Probably does it the same way around. Next up, we got Julian. Let's get Kellen. Planar Trailblazer on the show. It's a 1 mana 2/1. How bad could it be? It's a fairy? Okay, I guess I can see the pointy ears. Where's the wings? There should be some wings around here. For 2 mana, if Kellen is a scout, it becomes a human fairy detective and gains... Whenever Kellen deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card this turn. Then for 3 mana, if Kellen is a detective, it becomes a 3/2 human fairy rogue and gains double strike. I, too, would hate losing to a card that has to basically level themselves up like this. So it becomes a human... Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, exile a top card. At least it's only your library. I imagine there's some cards out there that they reveal the top card of your library. And of course, we don't like it when our opponents play our cards. We bought our cards for us. That's how it works here. Oh, you want to see Zinder split? For Islarf? Zinder split. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right. And then 1 donation to chat. Okay, we have the other half of that Akone card is a 1/4 Homunculus. Partner with Akone, Eye of Chaos. At the beginning of combat on your turn, flip a coin until you lose a flip. Ah! And then whenever a player wins a coin flip, draw a card. Fascinating. So this is like your... I guess this is like your Clark's Thumb type of card. Mr. Wap says, hello. Welcome. Good morning, afternoon, or evening, depending where you are in this world. Okay, we got a donation from Steve Cooper. This donation will go to Old Boy. Ambassador Blorpity Blorp Boop. Is that a real card? Blorpity. Sounds like a playtest card. I'm sure there are many people who hate that they live in a world where this card exists. Oh my god, this is real. You gotta be kidding me. 5 mana for a 3/3 alien advisor guest. When Ambassador Blorpity Blorp Boop enters the battlefield, you get 3 tickets? Oh no! I don't want to learn how this works. Stickers, tickets? No, boo! Absolute boo. Get him off the stage. Yeah, at the beginning of each combat, you may have Ambassador Blorpity Blorp Boop's base power and toughness become equal to the total power and toughness of all stickers on permanents you control. This is heinous! This is absolute downright disgusting. So I need to know how tickets work and stickers to understand this card. Stickers got banned? Oh, thank God. Oh yeah, this card is actually super banned. Look at this. Banned in Legacy, Vintage, and Oathbreaker. Good! Oh, that's the best news I've heard all day. Unfinity was unfun. Oh, you better believe it. Yeah, they screwed up. They screwed up. Ambassador Blorpy Bloop Bloop, you shouldn't have existed in the first place. You were a mistake! Okay, less than. Laughing Jasper Flint. People have heist effect for some reason, even though it's so slow. The 3 mana 4/3 Lizard Rogue. Creatures you control but don't own are mercenaries in addition to their other types. At the beginning of your upkeep, exile the top X cards of target opponent's library, where X is the number of outlaws you control. Until end of turn, you may cast spells from among those cards, and mana of any type can be spent to cast those spells. Oh, is this like an example of someone stealing our cards? Just a quick, just polling the chat. How much do you love or hate your opponents playing the cards off the top of your deck? Maybe there's some sort of sick people that are like, yes, play my cards. Let's see how it works out for you. I know this is a good card. I want to see you win with it. If I can't win with it, it's not about winning the game. It's about whose cards win the game. Next up, Bryce with Halden, Avid Anarchist. Look, you only get one. I'm not looking at both the cards. 3 mana for a 1/4 human wizard. You may play non-creature cards from exile with fetch counters on them. What? What is even a fetch counter? If you exiled them, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast those spells. Instructions unclear. Matthew is like, I love playing Heist and Cruel Claw Heist. I hate people who just steal cards the whole game. That's the only thing they do. Okay, getting back to the steal cards thing. I hate it when my opponent play with my cards, but I also have a ton of cards that tax attacking. Interesting. Halden is a bit too good for this list. Is it? It's like 76 cents. I don't know what it does though, to be honest. This is a card I have to see it to believe it. Christopher B, Roxa. Publicist. Is it? No, hold on. It's not Croxa Publicist. How many Publicist cards are there? Oh, Roxy! Christopher B. Oh no, it's another Unfinity card. 4 mana for a star for a human employee. All right. Flying. Roxy Publicist to the star's power is equal to the number of permanents you control with an art sticker plus the number of cards in your graveyard with an art sticker. When Roxy enters the battlefield, distribute up to 2 art stickers among 1 or 2 non-land permanents. Oh God.
No, God, please, no.
I think we're all in agreement. Stickers are awful. We're all in agreement. I'm glad that we didn't have to experience I didn't have to experience the sticker meta, at least in Legacy. They were out there, but I didn't have to experience it. All right, we're going to look at more legendary creatures we hate, but they are super bad. But we have to thank, of course, our sponsors today, starting with FusionGamingOnline.com. When you shop here, you get to save the tax, at least for a limited time. Save on GST and HST. Get cards while supplies last. Ether Drift, is on its way as spoilers come out and you are interested in those cards. Pre-order them at fusiongamingonline.com. Don't forget to use coupon code Nikachu, though. Oops, that's not the right. That's coupon code. Where's the right coupon? There we go. Coupon code Nikachu to get 5% off all of your purchases at checkout. We're also going to thank Mana Traders. Where do I go? What did I do to chat? We're also going to thank Magic Traders, the premier place to rent Magic cards online. Your ability to play any format on Magic Online, whether it be Standard, Pioneer, Commander, One-on-One Commander, Modern, Legacy, Vintage. You can play them all when you're renting cards with Mana Traders. You can support the channel using my Mana Traders link in the description below or save 40% cash back on your third month subscription using coupon code Nikachu_8GS. And now back to... Sticker hell. Okay, next card. Can't wait for Ether Drift. The cards look so fun. I'm hearing mixed messages about Ether Drift. Okay, David Sampson. Maraxus of Keld. I hate it because I own it, and I will never use it in any format. Well, that is a weird reason to hate this card. 6 mana for a star, has power and toughness, each equal to the total number of untapped artifacts and creatures and lands you control. I could see this being pretty good. Untapped artifacts in like an artifact type of deck. Or do you hate it because you've invested in... Apparently, this is a reserve list card. And it's probably not really going to go up in value. Probably not. Peanut Butter says, I don't like your lock. You don't like my lock? Question, is this bad? I actually have no idea how good or bad this card is. This card has been on the show so many times. The 4 mana 4/4. Vigilance. A player losing unspent mana causes that player to lose that many life points. Mana burn has been brought back from the dead. And also for 1 mana tap, each player adds 3 mana. And if you don't use it, well, you're going to lose it. And by it, I mean your life total. We've got a super chat from Big Mike. Ravika, the Wizard Savant. Ravika, Wizard. I hate it specifically because it's super bad. Some people hate cards because they lose to it. Some people just hate cards because it's an eyesore. 4 mana for a 0/1 Dwarf Wizard. Tap Ravika Wizard Savant. Deals 2 damage to target creature or player and doesn't untap during your next untap step. Wow, you know what? It's not the worst thing in the world. So it's super... was it Tim? It's super Tim. And it stuns the creature. Is it? And it's a dwarf wizard? Okay. Sometimes, you know, depending on the image, maybe it's a dragon. It actually yeah, double Tim for 1 extra mana. That's good value. All right. 1 mana, get 1 more damage. It's 3 order for 1. Sorry, 3 mana for 1 damage with Tim. Where's the Prodigal Sorcerer? 3 mana, 1 damage. But if you order now today, we will throw in a 1 extra damage for 1 more mana. You have to buy now. Pick up your phone. 1-800-RAVIKA. That's right. 1-800-RAVIKA. W. Can't wait for player doesn't untap to be real. Yeah, that's possible. Anything is possible in this world. Who else doesn't have a card yet? Charlie. Gothmog. Morgul Lieutenant. This is a 4 mana 3/3 human soldier. When Gothmog Morgul Lieutenant enters the battlefield, amass Orcs 1. Creature tokens you control have Death Touch. Otherwise, this card's not very good. But you know what? Them token decks gaining that dreaded Death Touch. That's a problem. No longer shall you be chump blocking that damn thing. Hey there, Tom Squires. The secret lair of Prodigal Sorcerer is actually Tim the Enchanter. Oh, is that right? They kept the flavor on point. Your creatures don't untap. Oh, is that how that card works? Deals 2 damage to a creature or player, or player, and doesn't untap during your next untap step. Oh, this creature doesn't untap. Oh, I misread this completely. Deals 2 damage to a creature or player, and deals 2 damage to any target and doesn't untap during. Yeah, okay. You know what? The way it's worded here, I got the sense that the creature or player doesn't untap, but when you read the not ancient scripture, it says deals 2 damage to any target and doesn't untap during your next untap step. So, you know what? Somehow reading it that way, it's just a little bit clearer. It wasn't clear before. Because, like, well, no, you know, it exerted, okay? This was exert before exerted exists. You go, deal 2 damage. Give me a second, all right? That took a lot out of me. It was like doing 5 push-ups. Okay, where the hell are we here? Took the Gothmog's thunder away here. Trent Sims, no 2 cards yet. Toshiro Umazawa. It's almost always just a pile of Doom Blades. Toshiro. Without a real win condition. I know because I built it before. I'm not sorry. It's nothing but a miserable pile of Doom Blades. 3 mana for a 2/2 human samurai with Bushido 1. Whenever a creature an opponent controls is put into a graveyard from play, you may play target instant card in your graveyard. If that card would be put into a graveyard this turn, remove it from the game instead. Oh, so but it's just Snapcaster Mage, right? Creature put into graveyard from play, you may play target instant card in your graveyard. Oh, I see. Yeah, so like you kill something, it dies, gives you the ability to play another card. To kill something, it dies, and so on and so on. Got to feed the graveyard, though, those removal spells. Nikachu flexing irritable bowel syndrome. I don't look like that when that's constant. Look, this is the constipation. This is what you look like when you're constipated. When you have irritable bowel syndrome, you're not trying anything. You're trying hard not to release. It's the opposite. You know, it feels like something's trying to escape. You're just trying to hold it in while you can go find potty. Alan with Prismatic Piper. Hopefully that wasn't too much information for everyone. You do if you go to Red Lobster. Well, yeah, I'm slightly allergic to shellfish, so I will I'll have that IBS. Okay, 5 mana for 3/3 Shapeshifter. If the Prismatic Piper is your commander, choose a color before the game begins. The Prismatic Piper is the chosen color. Getting beat down by the Prismatic Piper. So you don't like this because someone is cheating on the color pie. Yeah, Prismatic was just for draft. Was it? No, this can be your commander. It absolutely can be your commander. So if you want to cheat on... I mean, I don't know why you would play this. I'm sure there's a good partner in your colors all the time. But I guess if someone's going to play this to flex on you, so be it. Next up, we've got Fireburn with Veldrain of Sanger. No way, why? Because he's awful. Looks like David Bowie. Veldrain of Sanger. How dare he? I don't really see the David Bowie thing. Especially with the eye patch on. I don't know. Did David Bowie ever play a character with an eye patch? 7 mana for a 5/5 legend. 3 mana. Gets Forest Walk and -3/-3 until end of turn. But that Forest Walk, baby. I don't remember if Banovsky got a card yet or not. I hate Vadrik. for making the game track day and night. Yes! What an awful mechanic. Keep that in alchemy. What an absolute awful mechanic. And why does this blue-red card have it? It's a 3-mana 1/2. If it's neither day nor night, it becomes day as Vadric Astral Archmage enters the battlefield. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost X less to cast, where X is Vadric's power. Whenever day becomes night or night becomes day, put a +1/+1 counter on Vadric. It's god-awful. Should never have happened. I mean, I have no problem with day and night, but it should have been the Hunt Master of the Fells way. Like, we understood that intuitively. This day and night thing is just wrong. Jack Solaris, thanks so much for your super chat. Katarina of Myra's Marvels. Myra's Marvels. I love this card. Is it? Hold on, no, you want Katarina? There we go. I love this card, but my play group hates it. It's also a little tough to build around. Best letter for her is S. Okay, this is a 4-mana. Oh, it's an Acorn card. 3/3, Human Performer. Enters the battlefield, choose a letter. I wonder, have your friends caught on that this is not a legal card? It's an Acorn card. As Katarina of Mira's Marvels enters the battlefield, choose a letter. Whenever you cast a spell whose name begins with the chosen letter, create a 2/2 cat creature token with flying. It also has partner. It's not legal anywhere, right? Yeah, not even legal in Commander. He's just sneaking that one in there. Sneaking that card past them. I mean, if you scratch the hollow stamp enough, I guess, no one's going to notice. They let me play with her? All right, okay. Little rule 0 action going on over there. Hexenort. The Mythweaver is on top of everyone's hate list because it's used to force draw with Ashaya. I forgot, some of you love your alchemy out there. 4 mana for a Star Cat Shaman. Mythweaver Pox Power. Is this the card? Yeah, Mythweaver Pox. Its power and toughness are each equals the number of lands you control. Whenever one or more non-token lands enter the battlefield under your control, for each of them, conjure a duplicate of it onto the battlefield. This ability triggers only once each turn. Who cares? That's one too many times. So non-token lands enter the battlefield. Oh, so we get more. I play a fetch land. I get another fetch land. Next turn, crack. Hold on. This ability only triggers once each turn. So fetch land, you get a fetch land, and then you pass the turn. And then on their turn, you crack the fetch land. You get a land. This is wild. And it'll duplicate it, right? How many lands do you get off of a fetch land? So I play one fetch land, get a land. So I play one fetch land, I get a land. Then I sack the fetch land, get a land. It gets duplicated. I crack the second fetch land, get a land. It gets duplicated, right? There's a battlefield for each of them. Whenever one or more non-token lands. Because, like, my fetch land will find a real land, which can duplicate itself. So one fetch land gets me a total of 4 lands in play. Amazing. Yeah, 4 lands in play. Cool. It's good value. Makes me think we should be playing this card. Very underrated. Okay, Kagan, my best friends hate Lisa. Why? Lisa, Shroud of Dusk. So, of course, you like it. So you can verify somebody hates this card. It's just not you. It's a 5-mana 5/5 angel. Rather than pay 2 for each previous time you've cast this spell from the command zone this game, pay 2 life that many times. Oh, so commander tax. So you decide to pay in your blood. Flying lifelink. Whenever a player casts a spell, they lose 2 life. Oh. Well, I'll tell you, I hate these cards too. The sort of Eidolon of the Great Revel effects. It feels more like a red card. And on top of that, like, I also hate these cards where it's draining, but you're gaining because you do have the lifelink. At least with Eidolon of the Great Revel, there's no lifelink. So we are all going to hell together. But Lisa, Shroud of Dusk, obviously you're going to be the one that's actually going to benefit here because you have the lifelink. Yeah, you get 4 lands off of 1 fetch land. That was great. Almond, Ambassador. Oh no, we did that one. Sorry, we did that one. Yeah, tickets and stickers. Okay, Pedgeman. We did Hokori. We did Toxrill. We didn't do Najila. That's why you post several cards like Pedgeman. You never know when the first two are already taken. 3 mana for a 3/2 human warrior. Whenever a warrior attacks, you may have its controller create a 1/1 white warrior creature token that's tapped and attacking. Wow, that affects all warriors. Even my opponent's warriors. It's a 5 mana ability. Untap all attacking creatures. They gain trample, lifelink, and haste until end of turn. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. And sometimes, anyway, activate only during your combat. Sometimes those additional... Can that go infinite? If you have enough creatures that tap for mana? Untap all... Oh, no, it's on untap all attacking creatures. Ah, look at them. They know how to do that. Isn't Najila CEDH? I have no idea. It would not surprise me. I mean, this is a Wooburg card, so it's possible. Possibly disqualified, but I am not smart enough. Or I am not in tune enough with the Commander community to know for sure. Elixir with... Did we do Kira Great Glass Spinner? I find it underwhelming personally. Well, it's sort of frustrating to play against this card, the 3 mana 2/2. It, like, I should say, this card used to be very good for me a long time ago. These days, really hard to get a lot of value, but I can totally see this just being this annoying sort of counter spell. It's almost like perfect ward. No matter what you do, it's getting countered. Flying. Creatures you control have, whenever this creature becomes the target of a spell or ability for the first time each turn, counter that spell or ability. So the best way to get around this is just sort of poke a creature with some, you know, harmless ability, and then when it resolves, it's going to get countered, but then you can use a real spell from your hand to kill the creature. You got to use that 2/5 from Homelands, okay? To oh no, that's the defensive. We need the no, we need the 0/1 Tim that dealt 2 damage. We need that. That's what we need around here. Kagan with the super chat. Thank you so much. You want Serana the Falconer. I love my birds. Oh, sorry, Soraya the Falconer. What? I love my birds, but I hate it that I have to explain banding to my friends every time I want to use her. Oh my god. 3 mana for a 2/2. All falcons get +2/+2. And then for 2 mana, target falcon gains banding until end of turn. You should just play with this type of rule. Trust me rule 0. Okay, you're gonna attack, I'm gonna block, and then you just have to trust me that the damage works the way it works. You just gotta trust me. Okay, Almond is trying for another card. And Thausa, Citizen Hero. Actively seems like bad mono-green spell slinging that makes your lands worse. 5 mana for a 4/5 human warrior. Oh, it's got Heroic. Heroic is a terrible mechanic. Maybe not terrible. It's had its moment, but it's hard to build around. We'll just say that. Whenever you cast a spell that targets an Thausa, says in Hero, up to 3 target lands you control each become 2/2 warrior creatures until end of turn. They're still lands. Could backfire on you. Maybe I target your lands with some removal. Is like no free card yet. Elevere of the Wild Court is very annoying to track and versus. Ah, yes. Oh, this picture is cute. Oh, look at that fox. This is great. You know, I've seen so many videos on TikTok and YouTube about people who I don't know if they domesticated the fox or they just let the fox into their house, but it basically they treat the fox like a dog, and I'm just surprised how like domesticatable it is. That's not a word, but I'm making it up. You know what I'm talking about. 4 mana for a 4/4 human knight. Whenever Elevere of the Wild Court enters the battlefield or attacks, create a virtuous roll token attached or to another target creature you control. The roll tokens are so weird. If you control another roll on it, put that one into the graveyard. Enchanted creature gets +1/+1 for each enchantment you control. Whenever an enchanted creature you control deals combat damage to a player, we get to draw a card. Tom Squires, they are still lands, getting the AI card flashbacks. Absolutely. This is what is this? How do I Gwayer? Gway here. The Windlord. The Windlord! This is a bad card. 6 mana for a 4/4 Bird Noble. The spell costs 2 less to cast as long as you've drawn 2 or more cards this turn. Brainstorm for the win. Flying and Vigilance. Other birds you control have Vigilance. The problem is if you lose to this deck, it's a bird deck. Most of the birds are not very good. There are some all-stars out there, but most of them are not very good. I'm an authority. I've tried to build a bird deck before. All right, we got Nimai with Sin Triplets. Everyone hates it, but you have to wait for your turn, your next turn. I never see it resolve. It just gets removed. 5 mana for a 3/3 human wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, choose target opponent. This turn, that player can't cast spells or activate abilities and plays with their hand revealed. Oh no! You may play lands and cast spells from that player's hand this turn. Don't. This is absolutely the quintessential.
No,
Don't
please,
touch
no.
my stuff. All right. Pulls out pocket knife. Oh, we have a super chat from Benovsky. If you see Phage untouchable, they cook in some BS. Probably. Do people really hate this card? What are your feelings when you see a Phage deck? I would just assume, wow, this person's playing jank. 7 mana for the 4/4. Enters the battlefield. If you didn't cast it, you lose. Deals damage to somebody. When it deals damage to a creature, blow it up. And if it deals damage to a player, they lose. They lose the game. Instant loss. I've got a bird deck on Arena. It's about 60-40 in the wind. It's pretty good. So when people look at it's jank, but it danger. That's how some people look at Phage the Untouchable. Okay, let's start looking at some people who have not had 2 cards yet. Toilet Duck. Sylvana the Explorer returned. Didn't we see that one? Explorer returned. Oh, I guess we saw Sylvala Explorer, but not the returned one. 3 mana for a 2/4 Elf Scout with Parlay. Tap. Each player reveals the top card of their library. For each non-land card revealed this way, add green to your... add green and gain 1 life. Each player draws a card. So we're all drawing cards. What's wrong with this card? I'm sure it's bad because it's more of like a group hug-like. But I don't see why I would hate playing against this thing. It's actually helping me. Oh, it's dangerous jank? Okay. I can get behind that. Some jank, if you let it go wild, you're dead. Simple as that. Pabno, did we do Golem Scheming Guide? So annoying. We haven't, but we will in a minute. I spelled Golem right. Wrong. What a crappy picture. Here, look. Here's my cave. It's a 3 mana 2/1 Halfling Horror. Whenever Golem Scheming Guide attacks, look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put them back in any order, then choose land or non-land. An opponent guesses whether the top card of your library is the chosen kind. Reveal that card. If they guessed right, remove Golem from combat. Otherwise, you draw a card and Golem can't be blocked this turn. So that just makes you feel like you're getting mind tricked. You're right and it's great, or wrong and you feel like an idiot. Make your opponent feels like they're doing casting Jedi mind tricks on you. Dimitri wants a second card. Audrich, Lunar Marshal. As specifically, is it Audrich, Lunar Marshal? think this one. And specifically Commander, since I can't get even 2 keywords when I play him, then my opponents, Flying Haste, Double Strike, Trample, Shroud, Prowess. Oh, so you're saying you don't get the full benefit when you play him. 4 mana for a 3/3 at the beginning of each combat. Creatures you control gain first strike until end of turn if there's a creature you control that has first strike. The same is true for Flying, Death Touch, Double Strike, Haste, Hexproof, Indestructible, Lifelink, Menace, Reach, Skulk, Trample, and Vigilance. Yeah, I've got some words of wisdom for you, Dimitri. If your deck is not working the way you want it to work, and you got inspired by another deck, play their deck. That probably will work. Probably, no guarantees. PDX. New Trash. Calaxion. Hunger Tyrant. Oh, so we don't even know if this card is good or bad yet. 3 mana for a 7/2. Okay, you know what? I take it bad. We already know it's bad. Yoinker with the Italian. The Kindly Lord. A very kind lord. 4 mana for a 3/4 Fairy Noble. Flying as Talion, the Kindly Lord, enters the battlefield. Choose a number between 1 and 10. Whenever an opponent casts a spell with mana value, power, or toughness equal to the chosen number, that player loses 2 life and you draw a card. Enters the battlefield, choose a number between 1 and 10. It's the 1 has to be the number, right? Or maybe 2? Oh, I guess you can choose a number based on the commanders at the table. So if there's like 3 players with commanders that all cost 5, then you just name 5 and you cash in on them casting them over and over again. Hexenort. Kano. Sorry, Kona. Rescue Beastie. Not the Rescue Rangers. 4 mana for a 4/3 Beast Survivor. Survival! At the beginning of your second main phase, if Kano Rescue Beastie is tapped, you may put a permanent card from your hand onto the battlefield. This could be a danger. I guess this card just never ended up being anything. The beginning of your second main phase. Yeah, okay. So easy to deal with because you can block at the beginning of your second main phase if it's tapped. Oh no, you can't chump block it. You have to kill it in combat. Okay, Christopher B wants, how about my other Unfinity extra deck, Myra the Magnificent? 4 mana for a 2/4. Human Performer. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand, open an attraction. Oh god. Tap X tap. Exile target instant or sorcery card with mana value X from your graveyard. And choose an attraction you control that doesn't have a midway counter on it. Put a midway counter on it. Whenever you visit that attraction, copy the exiled card. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. What an awful set. What an awful set. It's funny when they announced stickers and stuff, like the whole room like really groaned when they heard that it's gonna be part of like competitive tournaments. Let's end with the Ancient One. Here we go. 2 mana. Wow! 2 mana 8/8 Spirit God. Descend 8. The Ancient One can't attack or block unless there are 8 or more permanent cards in your graveyard. That's not that hard. 4 mana. Draw a card, then discard a card. When you discard a card this way, target player mills cards equal to its mana value. Ah, yeah. I'm certain the part that you hate about this card the most is the whole making you mill your cards ordeal. No one likes their cards milled. Back off. Don't touch my rare card. Steve Cooper with Smeagol, Helpful Guide. I'm getting a lot of Lord of the Rings cards today. Smeagol. Smeagol, help you. I love when my... He was not called Smeagol at this point, was he? I love when my buddy uses all my lands to kill me. And Dono 2 to the chat. Thanks so much, Steve Cooper, for being a real one. We have a 3-mana 4/2 Halfling Horror at the beginning of your end step. If a creature died under your control this turn, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, target opponent reveals cards on the top of their library until they reveal a land card. Put that card onto the battlefield tapped under your control and the rest into the graveyard. You love it when your opponents use your cards. Cards to kill you. Okay, we have 2 donations. Who are we giving the donations to? We can give one to Old Boy. Brewvac. I'll even give you a super chat sound of effect. Mill is very bad in EDH, but especially inexperienced players tend to hate you off the table. 3 mana for 1/4. If an opponent would mill 1 or more cards, they mill twice that many cards instead. 10 turns into 20. Let's get Fricade here. Bruna. Light of Alabaster. Jank Aura. But can steal some games out of nowhere. Okay, yep, that's the right card. Okay, it's a 6 mana 5/5 Angel with Flying and Vigilance, mind you. And whenever Bruna, Light of Alabaster, attacks or blocks, you may attach to it any number of auras on the battlefield, and you may put onto the battlefield attached to it any number of aura cards that could enchant it from your graveyard and or hand. So it's like it's aura reanimator. Whenever it attacks, you play this. If you play this from the command zone, you have 1 turn. You just look into the graveyard with all those cards in there. Spell stutter. Even give you a super chat sound effect. Has anyone done the Lord of Pain? 5 mana for a 5/5 Human Assassin Menace. Your opponents can't gain life. And whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. The Lord of Pain deals damage equal to that player's mana value, that spell's mana value, to the chosen player. Yeah, not a huge fan of not gaining life. Also, it's really hard to block. This is a really big creature. Whenever a player casts their first spell each turn, choose another target player. Oh, so as one person casts spells, the other person's going to take damage. Interesting. And evil. Okay, we got Pabno. Thanks so much for the super chat. What is this? Kamachel, ship's mascot. I hate it because the cowards at Wizards of the Coast were too afraid to give us reasonably priced Dino Ragavan. Oh, God. You really want a Dino Ragavan? That sounds terrible. 3 mana 2/2 Menace for a red. Kamachel, ship's mascot, gets +1/+0 until end of turn. And whenever Kamachel deals combat damage to a player, create a treasure token, then exile from that player's library a random card with mana value equal to the damage dealt. You may cast that card this turn. That's right. All right, that's it. That's it for the show. Thank you so much for being here today, everybody. I hope it was an interesting show. It was slightly inspired by Toads, because Toads wanted a legendary cards we hate type of show. Drowsy Conscription works on Bruna for me. Yo, absolutely. As usual, if you want to be part of the show, you got to be here 3 p.m. Central Standard Time. Just like all the fine coffee crew that are here today. And of course, thank you very much for supporting the show. If you're a patron on Patreon, a member on YouTube, or you super chat to be part of the show, or even super chat so other people are part of the show. And of course, thank you so much for being here today. People like Dimitri, Tom, Squires, Pabno, Chally. We got Leslie and Trent Sims, Little Dead Fly, Old Boy, Little Dead Fly, always here at the beginning, always here at the end. Catch up. David Sampson, Jack Solaris, Hexenor, Jesus, Christopher B. Because you guys are the crew. The coffee crew that makes the show work every day. So as usual, my crew, keep brewing up those coffees and we'll keep brewing up the magic. Take care of yourselves and I will see you at the next cup.